Keith passes ordination exams, and then something is about to happen here with Rich. All right, so here's what happened with Rich Richardson. Again, senior pastor of Gilbert Church in Arizona, was my senior pastor for 10 years, is the pastor who sent me out to this internship to begin with. He's also the pastor who sent Glenn in '09 to the church as well. And so here's what happened. So in the first session, my first video, I mentioned that I successfully completed the 2-year pastoral evaluation class at 2013. Rich then has some interviews, some meetings with me and Carrie, and then decides to send us. What was going on in those interviews, there was an incident that happened in 2011. So we're going to, real fast, 2011, this lady in the church in Gilbert sends out an email to all the women for women's ministry and says, hey, basically saying like, I want to teach you that like when you write things in your journal, those words become God's words. And I was like, I wonder what she means by that, right? Because that, that could mean a lot of things, but just want to clarify, like, what is this, right? So I tried to contact the pastors about it. It's around the holidays, around Christmas, so no one was picking up. So I just, I left them a voicemail and the husband, and they called me back, and both husband and wife wanted to talk with me. Where I was like, great. I was being gracious and just asking questions, just wondering like, hey, so what, tell me more about this. Would love to Carrie to join. Just want to see, what you were thinking with this. Well, apparently that's in 2011. And in 2013, I found out from Rich that, after the pastoral evaluation class and all that jazz, then he brings this up and says, hey, they were really offended that you would even ask them, and they were really pushed back that you had questions about this. And so Rich wanted to question me about that. So I answered his questions about that, and then he went out of his way to say, okay, now that I've heard your thoughts on that, now that I better understand your perspective, I've seen your humility with this, now I feel comfortable with making this offer up and this internship. So he said I wasn't going to offer you this if this issue in 2011 wasn't resolved, but he's like, but I feel good about that. That's good. It makes sense. That's great. Okay, so back up to speed now. So I've passed my ordination exams, gone through almost 4 years. It's 3.5 years. It's June of 17 now. And I get an email from Rich. Now, I've never heard from Rich during my internship. Never called me once, never emailed me, check in, see how I'm doing, how Carrie and the kids are doing. In his email, he says, hey, I know this is gonna seem like it's out of the blue, but as an elder in the region, I feel compelled to email you and ask you about this 2011 incident. He says, I just want to see if you've changed your thoughts on it, if you've changed the way that you think about it. Where are you on that? And then he mentions that, I don't feel like I can really vote for you. So you got to think about this. After I pass my ordination exams, there's going to be a time here where the regional elders will vote for the candidate. And he's saying, I don't know if I can vote for you right now because of that incident. And Rich also was on the national executive team, so he had a lot of sway in the region, and alluding to like, if I don't vote for you, others aren't going to vote for you. So this is where you get into like the politics. So here's the issue here. I responded immediately to Rich's email that day. And I responded, I answered his questions, and then I said to him, hey, if you have any other questions, here's my phone number, here's my email, please let me know, I'd love to talk with you. And I heard nothing back from him. Not an acknowledgement of thanks for the email, not a cool, gotcha, catch on the flippity flip. I heard nothing back from him. You know what that does to me? To know that this guy who holds this kind of sway and this power, who's going out of his way, in his words, out of the blue, to email me, kind of threatening me a little bit, that's not, to put it lightly, that doesn't give me the warm and fuzzies and make me feel supported by the guy who sent me out. That's put it mildly. What I want to address with Rich, I want to say this to you. If you're even, well, you're not going to watch this, but I would just say, I came to you in October of 2015 during a national pastors conference. I told you what was going on with me and Glenn, and you didn't want anything to do with it. You wanted to stay clear of it. You gave me no offer to assist. You didn't want to step in. You kept your hands clean. You wanted to just stay out of it. Once it became politically safe for you to speak out against Glenn's ministry, that is, once Glenn was removed from the office of pastoral ministry in the spring of 17, then you went to Tony, and Tony told me these things. You went to him and you talked to him, and you apologized to Tony for even sending Glenn out. You told him that you guys on the pastoral team in Gilbert, you hadn't sufficiently worked through some of these issues that you saw with Glenn, but you just sent him out there, which is kind of like you didn't want to deal with it. You didn't want to get your hands dirty with Glenn. We'll just ship him out. You had issues with me, and you didn't want to deal with it, so you just shipped me out. You told me there was no positions opening in Gilbert. That's why you gave me the internship in Denver. Yet a year later, you hired two pastors. You just wanted me to get out. You didn't want to deal with someone who wasn't a yes man. You apologized to Tony, but not to me. I'm the one who had to clean up the mess that Glenn was making. I'm the one who had to sit down and cry with the people who were hurt by his ministry. You admitted to us these things. You admitted to Tony. You never talked to me. You never came to me. But you admitted, hey, we never worked through these issues in Gilbert. And I just want to thank you for that. Thanks for sending Glenn without working through those issues. Thanks for taking the expedient route and playing it safe. On behalf of literally hundreds of families that experienced significant damage under Glenn's ministry, thank you, Rich. Great job. You'll have to answer for God for all of this. You don't have to answer to me, obviously. You won't even return my calls, or my email. So you know, one day, very soon, you will have to answer to God for this. You felt compelled as a pastor in the region to ask me about a concern you had 7 years ago that you and I already discussed. But you didn't feel compelled as my pastor of 10 years to check in with me or with Carrie and see how we're doing, to check in because of the 4 years of hell that you put me into in this internship. Great job, Rich. That's ridiculous, man. That's ridiculous. You know, I hear a lot on the social media how you say how open you are to meeting and talking with people, but you didn't even reply to my email. You're a coward. And you're not a pastor, but a Pontius Pilate politician. You're not going to be able to wash your hands from the responsibility of supporting Glenn and abandoning me and my family. All right, so back to what was happening here in the timeline. So this is June, and I get that email. I reply back to Rich. I mean, it's ridiculous. If you had concerns with that 2011 issue, you should have set me up, man. But you felt good enough about me being sent up, but not about me finishing the job you sent me to. You sent me on an internship, and I'm getting ready to get ordained, but you don't want to vote for me because of an issue that I already answered. So it's just double talk. It's just the stuff I've come to know from you, and it's sad. You used to be a good pastor. I don't know what happened to you, but I hope one day God will break through in your cold, callous heart and soften you. And that's just sad, but I'm going to move on from that.